Hey everybody, this is Anthony from VR Game Rankings, and welcome to episode 27 of our daily vlog series for Tuesday, November 7th. Now, you might have been wondering about yesterday's episode. Why did it take so long for yesterday's episode to appear on YouTube? And then if you watch the episode, you probably realize the reason. I am trying to add a little bit more production value to these episodes. It's going to be somewhat amateur hour because I am not a video editing expert, but I am going to try to bang away at it and try to get better at it, try to improve these daily vlogs, make them a little bit more entertaining. And so basically over the next, I don't know how many daily vlogs, I'm going to be getting used to this and trying to get a feel for it, trying to get my workflow down, and I will try to improve how quickly I can get these daily vlogs up onto YouTube. So it's going to be a bit of an experimental process, and I just hope that everybody can bear with me through this transitionary period to having a bit more production values and stepping it up a little bit. Until I get my dream video guy that joins the VR Game Rankings team, I'm going to have to try to learn how to do this myself. So I'm going to try to do the best that I can, and I'm going to try to slowly but surely learn how to improve the daily vlog. And so that's the idea, and that's why it was late. But let's go ahead and get into today's news. We do have a number of interesting news stories to talk about. First up, Megaton Rainfall. So Megaton Rainfall has come out on PlayStation VR. It came out in October, really wowed a lot of PlayStation VR players, really surprised me. It surprised a lot of people. This is kind of like War of the Worlds meets Superman. You're kind of like a Superman trying to save planet Earth from a War of the Worlds style invasion, or like an Independence Day type of invasion. Really cool, really amazing. Just a wonderful game. It does have some bugs. It does have some issues. I have seen quite a few threads on the PSVR subreddit with players talking about how later into the game of Megaton Rainfall, lots of game crashes. I've had some problems as well when I've played Megaton Rainfall. I've had the game crash on me a couple of times. So there are a few bugs, there are a few issues, but the dev is working on it and straightening that out. Now, what is the news? The news is Megaton Rainfall is coming to the HTC Vive and to the Oculus Rift in 2018. Yeah, this is kind of an unfortunate news story because we were actually hoping that there was a chance Megaton Rainfall could arrive this year, sometime this November, possibly in December, but now we find out that it will be first quarter 2018 or possibly even later in 2018, but I think it was said early 2018 by the dev. I believe he tweeted that out. There was some confusion with the Megaton Rainfall Steam page where some people thought that the game was going to be coming out around November 17th, but that was a mistake. And it's actually going to be coming in early 2018 to the HTC Vive and to the Oculus Rift. But it is still a primetime game that any Oculus Rift owner, any HTC Vive owner, you should keep Megaton Rainfall on your radar, although it will be a 2018 release. Okay, so the next story I have is Jamie Heineman from Mythbusters. Now, I don't know if I'm mispronouncing his last name. I'm not a fan of Mythbusters. I don't really watch that. And I do watch some of the tested stuff, but I mostly watch the projection guys. Jeremy and Norm is typically what I'm watching when I watch the tested videos. So I'm not really up to date on the Mythbuster guys, but Jamie Heineman is having an Indiegogo for VR shoes. And let me go ahead and bring up his little Indiegogo thing here. Yeah, so Jamie Heineman's virtual reality electric shoes help Jamie create the 7th generation of his prototype electric shoes for enhancing the VR experience. So right now they have about just under $5,000 has been raised by 32 backers. They have 10% of their $50,000 goal. There is a month left. This is on Indiegogo, and it's basically this Vortex shoe, which is going to have it's kind of weird. I'm looking at this here. You guys will see the video as I'm talking about this, but it's really kind of weird. It has like these roller balls on the back of it, and then it has kind of almost like a tank tread that's on the front of it. And so the idea with these VR shoes is that as you're stepping forward, the shoes are going backwards. And so it goes backwards basically with your steps. So you end up basically not going anywhere. So you end up staying in a very small relative area, but you get to take natural, real style motions, and the shoes kind of rewind you a little bit. Now, if you watch the videos for this, I honestly don't know what to think about this. There's a part of me that almost thinks this is a joke. Like this is not like this is like an April Fool's joke or something, but it's actually real. And so what they do say on here is they say, look, we don't know if this is going to work, but we want to see if it will work. And so what they're trying to do is they're trying to get people to fund this so that they can make a better designed prototype and see, will this actually work? Now, I don't know. I find it really hard to believe that you're going to be able to put these shoes on. It seems like, to me, it seems like they're going way overboard to try to solve a problem that it's almost like they're creating a bigger problem. Like, I think this would be a major injury risk for somebody. Imagine an older lady or somebody putting on these things and trying to do VR with a shoe that's moving backwards. I could see people falling over, tripping. I don't know. I don't think this is a very good idea, but you know, what have I done? I mean, this is a guy that's on TV. He has a show, Mythbusters. He's done a lot of stuff. So I think we got to give them the benefit of the doubt here. But ultimately, I don't know that this is ever going to be a product that will actually happen. And then the other thing about it is, if it ever does eventually become a product, I feel like it's going to be crazy expensive. I don't know how they're going to get. To me, it would seem like these shoes would cost as much as a VR headset itself. Locomotion is a long-term problem for VR, and it is something that we're going to have to solve. I've always thought, though, that the Infinitrack, which is something that is being developed actually in Rockland, California, which isn't too far from where I live, but I don't know if you guys have seen, I believe it's called the Infinitrack, where it's a square device and it's a moving treadmill that moves in all directions, and it kind of just moves with you, and you can kind of take natural motions. Now, the thing is, it's huge, it's expensive. I know we're a really long ways away from like a mass market VR treadmill type design, but we're going to get closer and closer every day. So, I mean, it's good that they have these VR shoes. They're trying to go for it. Hopefully it'll work out. We do need this problem solved. And if this works, that would be wonderful. I just think it's a little far-fetched. I don't think it's going to quite work. And I think if it does work, it's going to be quite expensive. And there's going to be some caveats that you're going to have to deal with. You're going to have to be careful with these things. But it's certainly interesting. It definitely caught me off guard. So we'll have to see how that goes. Okay, our next news story is the Samsung Odyssey. So the first reviews of Samsung Odyssey are starting to come out. And so far, what I've seen on the early reviews is that the Samsung Odyssey might not necessarily be this dream come true Microsoft mixed reality headset that we thought it was going to be. Everybody thought that this would be the one to get, that this would clearly be the best mixed reality headset that you could possibly go for. Now, what I've heard in some of these early reviews is that the headset is very hot. Like, you put it on, it has a lot of leather, and it's relatively comfortable, but that you can get hot inside the headset very quick. And this one guy was saying, look, if you're the type of person that sweats easily, you're a heavy sweater, this is not going to be a good headset for you, because you're going to be sweating your butt off wearing this headset. So that was one of the early things that was mentioned. Also said that it kind of feels like a first generation Vive in terms of the fact that it's heavy and it kind of gets uncomfortable the longer that you wear it. Also, the built-in headphones, you know, this Samsung Odyssey does have built-in headphones. Unfortunately, the built-in headphones are not very good. The sound is apparently very tinny, not a lot of bass. They compared it to the Oculus Rift built-in headphones and said the Rift headphones are considerably better. So that is not very good. Now, on the bright side, the low persistent OLED screens are very good, and it does give it the best visuals of all the mixed reality headsets. The field of view is also a little bit better than a lot of other mixed reality headsets, but this guy was also complaining about how when you put it on your head, that the only way to get a good field of view, you kind of have to wear it in the wrong way, and then it's not very comfortable, and that if you wear it in the right way, the field of view isn't very good. It doesn't have that clip bracket that a lot of the other headsets have. So it doesn't look that good. One guy did report, though, that the God rays are supposedly considerably reduced compared to the Oculus Rift. So that is one good bit of news. I did write a quote from one of the reviews. This guy was complaining about the rubber piece that blocks your nose hole gap so that you don't have a lot of light leakage. And this is what he had to say. So far, my biggest issue with it is the rubber piece that blocks the nose hole gap. It pinches my nostrils and I can't breathe properly through my nose. It's extremely annoying. I actually kind of like having a nose hole gap because it lets me look down and see my phone or keyboard if needed. Okay, so that doesn't sound too good. Of course, that's the type of situation where so many people are different. We have different shaped heads, different shaped noses, different shaped brows. Just everything is different. Even though we're all humans, our heads are different sizes, different shapes, different shaped noses, eye sockets, all kinds of things, IPDs. So it's always hard as far as that goes. And there's always going to be some weird things that really bother some people, but are no problem whatsoever for other people. So basically, the general gist of it is that it doesn't appear that the Samsung Odyssey is an absolute home run. So for everyone that's been waiting for that headset to hopefully save the Microsoft mixed reality platform, not so sure that that is going to be the case. The guy was also talking about the resolution, and it didn't sound, because the Samsung does have a little bit more resolution, but he didn't make it seem like it was a noticeable thing compared to the other Microsoft mixed reality headsets. And he actually mentioned a number of times that the Dell mixed reality headset was the most comfortable of all the ones that he's tried. And Steve actually had bought the Dell, tried it for a while, ended up returning it. He didn't like it. So if that was the most comfortable one, man, I don't know what the most uncomfortable one is. Although it sounds like the Samsung one does get quite hot and does get uncomfortable the longer you wear it, kind of heavy and all of that sort of thing. So that is the Samsung Odyssey. Okay, we now go to PlayStation VR Black Friday deal. Yes, we are in the month of November, and of course, when you get into the month of November, you start to hear a lot of talk about Black Friday. And of course, with a lot of our games, there's no physical games. Of course, on PlayStation VR, there are physical games, and a lot of the Black Friday deals are more with the brick and mortar retailers with actual physical releases. But we do have some good news from a hardware standpoint. You can get a PSVR core system for $199, $200. You can walk away with a PlayStation VR core system. Now, it's likely going to be the original model and not the new and improved model. I don't know if they have core versions of that model even available yet, but this is a doorbuster for Target. So this is one of those deals where they're only going to have a limited amount of these things. And if you don't line up very early, I don't know if Target is actually open on Thanksgiving Day or if it's going to be on Friday, or when this might be a Friday doorbuster deal, so you might not be able to get it on Thursday either way. But a lot of stores are now opening on Thursday. This Black Friday thing here in the USA, if you're from another country and you're watching this, Black Friday in the USA has just become a crazy, crazy phenomenon. It just gets bigger and bigger every year. I used to be into it. I used to go camp out in line and try to get a TV for really cheap. I used to do that every once in a while. Nowadays, I stay inside my nice, cozy, warm house and I don't worry about it. Maybe I might bounce onto the internet and see if I can grab a deal. But usually those people are clicking constantly. They're refreshing their pages every microsecond. And even then, it's not even worth it a lot of times. So I usually don't really participate in the Black Friday stuff. I just kind of avoid all of it and don't worry about it. But hey, if you are looking for a PSVR headset, it's hard to get cheaper than $200 for a brand spanking new headset. That is a great deal. And if you have a Target card, if you have the red card, you could probably get another 5% off, which does help with the tax, of course. So that is the PlayStation VR Black Friday deal at Target. Now, in more PlayStation VR news, and I know that a huge percentage of my audience, you are all PlayStation VR gamers, right? Okay, I know probably not that many, but there probably are a few PlayStation VR gamers out there, or maybe you have a PSVR as a secondary headset. It's actually a good combination to have with the Rift or a Vive to have a PSVR, because you do get a lot of other experiences. There's a lot of exclusives that you normally wouldn't get, and there's a lot of good sit-down controller-based games that are kind of good change of pace style games. So PSVR, not a bad thing to pick up as a secondary headset, especially if you have kids and you don't want them to jack up your Vive or your Rift and screw that up. Let them play with the PSVR. If they break it, it's not as expensive, and so it's not as big of a tragedy. But the news that we have is there is a new PlayStation VR demo disc, and I talked about this, was it on yesterday's episode when I was talking about the Skyrim bundle? I think it might have been on the Skyrim bundle where I said there would be a new demo disc, version 2, and that it might have new games. And am I psychic or am I freaking psychic? Because yesterday I said, I wonder if we'll be able to maybe play Moss. Maybe we'll play Star Child. Maybe we'll play The Persistence. Okay, so I didn't say The Persistence, but I did say Moss and I did play Star Child. And yes, there are demos of Moss. There are demos of Star Child. There is a demo of The Persistence. Now, this is available right now. If you are in Australia, you can go to the Australia PSN and you can start downloading this demo right now. It is a huge download. I believe it's like 30 gigs for this thing. I don't know if you have to download the whole entire thing, if you already have the other demo disc, if it just kind of adds on part of it or what. But there are a number of games that are in this demo disc. The big ones are Moss, Star Child, and The Persistence, because none of these games are currently available right now. So to get a first look at these games is exciting, but it also has demos of Battlezone, Eve Valkyrie, Thumper, Tiny Tracks, Dino Frontier, Job Simulator, Raw Data, and Res Infinite. Now, I think Tiny Tracks is a new demo. That was not on there. Dino Frontier is a new demo. I don't know if they had a Job Simulator demo or not. I can't remember. And Raw Data is absolutely a new demo. And I've raved about Raw Data. I'm hoping that whatever demo they give you is a good demo. But man, I mean, I do have a little bit of psychic ability. I did call it Moss and Star Child. Now, this demo disc is coming officially on November 8th. I know that it's coming to the European PSN on November 8th. It probably came to Australia first, because doesn't Australia will hit November 8th before everybody else is. So maybe that's why it's already in Australia, but it'll come to Europe PSN tomorrow, and I'm assuming it will come to the USA PSN tomorrow as well. And I'm looking forward to this. I'm definitely going to download this. I definitely want to try Moss, Star Child, and The Persistence. Definitely want to try that out. I've never played Dino Frontier, so I'm also going to try that demo out as well. So there are some cool demos coming to PlayStation VR gamers. Other news that we have in terms of games and when they're coming out, Sprint Vector. So Sprint Vector is coming to all three of the major VR platforms. It's coming to PlayStation VR, it's coming to the Oculus Rift, and it is coming to the HTC Vive. Now, of course, Sprint Vector is coming to us by Survios, the developers of Raw Data. Now, we thought that this game might be coming in the fourth quarter of 2017, but it has now been confirmed that it is coming in the first quarter of 2018. Survios kind of did a little tweet, and they mentioned that Sprint Vector is sprinting towards completion or something like that in early 2018. So this is one of the things that we're seeing with a lot of games. Since we are in the month of November now, there are so many games, and I know this being on VR Game Rankings, we have our most wanted game charts. We have a top 20 most wanted for all three of the platforms. We have a top 20 most wanted overall. We have a top 50 most wanted overall. And what we have to do at VR Game Rankings is we have to try to predict when a lot of these games are coming out, and the vast majority of them just say fourth quarter 2017, and it's because we don't have any kind of locked in release date for a lot of this stuff, and it's just kind of fourth quarter, and we'll see. Will it really come out in the fourth quarter? We don't know. And so now that we're in the month of November, a lot of these fourth quarter games, we're going to start finding out that they're not actually fourth quarter because we're running out of fourth quarter. I mean, it's basically this month of November and December, and that's it. And so if a game isn't coming out in the next 45 days, then it's probably going to be a 2018 game. So Sprint Vector is one of these. It's going to be a 2018 release. It's still exciting. We're looking forward to it. After playing games like To the Top, where you're kind of like sprinting through a level and it's kind of an obstacle maze and it's a platformer, very enjoyable game. We've seen platformers in VR. This is kind of a mixture between like a racing game and platforming as well. So Sprint Vector looks really interesting. Hopefully there might be a demo of this at some point where we can kind of get our hands on it, see what it's like. But it looks like Sprint Vector is coming early in 2018. Okay, so that covers basically all of the news, and I just wanted to talk real quick about a couple of VR experiences I've tried yesterday. I know we are running up on the 25-minute mark pretty soon, so I'll try to be brief with this. So Audio Factory, that app from Google that I talked about yesterday, I was able to try it after the show. And you know what? The audio is really quite good. Basically, you're on like this elevator and you can move to several different floors. And as you go to each floor, there is a brief little experience that you can participate in where you have some minor interactivity. You basically have one hand where you're grabbing things and plugging things into different things, or you're activating things with your one hand, and it creates sound, and the sound seems to come from all kinds of different locations, and it really has that good atmospheric sound. Now, this is just another audio SDK. There's a lot of them. I know Oculus has been working on something, Valve has been working on something, and now Google has this. My key thing about this is a cool demo, and definitely try it. Somebody said yesterday it was about 5 minutes. I think it's more like 10 minutes, and it's definitely worth trying. It's a real quick download. Doesn't take long at all to download. It's a small file, and there's a lot of good experiences. Well, not a lot, but I mean, there's like 4 or 5 good experiences that you can try on this. It takes about 10 minutes. It's well worth 10 minutes of your time to check it out. And my final take, though, is this is really cool, but can we see this in a full-length, full-feature game? Like, I want to see this in a major release. Like, Fallout 4 is using this new audio. Fallout 4 VR is using this new audio technique, or Doom VFR is using this new audio technique. I want to see a full-length game take advantage of some of this next level audio capability and see, did I really notice a major difference? Was there really a big difference as I played through an entire game of it? Is it something that I really noticed, and in other games I'm not noticing it, and it's kind of a downgrade? And we haven't really seen that yet. We always hear about these interesting things, and we always get these little demos, but when is it going to come to a full-length, full-feature game? Now, this is a Google thing, so if they start making some more Daydream games that are full-length, it's very possible that some of these games will start using this audio technique, and hopefully it will sound incredible, and it will cause other developers to consider doing some stuff like this. Another demo I tried was Dead Hungry on PlayStation VR. So I was on my PlayStation VR yesterday. I forget what I was doing on there, but I remembered that there was a demo for Dead Hungry, and I thought, you know what, I might as well go ahead and check out this demo. I got into the demo, and I'll tell you what, I was super impressed with what I experienced with Dead Hungry. I mean, there's not a lot going on in the game. You're basically in this food truck. You have zombies that are approaching you, and you have to make hamburgers, and you have to make them in a certain way. And if you're able to do it quickly enough, then the zombies don't kill you. And now when I got into this experience, there was a tutorial, but you were able to skip the tutorial, and I skipped it. And that was probably a bad idea, because when I got into the experience, I didn't know exactly what I was doing. I was trying to make these hamburgers, and I thought I was doing the right thing, but the zombies kept killing me, so I must have been doing something wrong. So I probably need to go back in there and do the tutorial. But the thing that I liked about it was the fact that it uses the Move controllers, and it felt really good picking up the hamburger patties and putting them on the grill, sizzling them up, grabbing the lettuce, grabbing the buns, squirting the mustard on there, squirting the ketchup on there. It all felt good. It tracked well. It was a great experience. I felt like I was in a Vive or something, and the graphics were really good. It had a really good 3D appearance. You're inside this food truck. You can look all around you inside the food truck. It looks pretty good. The zombies look pretty good as they're walking to you. It's relatively simple. I mean, there's nothing extravagant going on here, but I had some fun. And, you know, Dead Hungry is available, of course, for the Vive. It's available for the Rift. And this is one of these games, I'll probably end up getting it on the Vive or the Rift when I see it on a real deep discount on a Steam sale or something where they're giving it away for like $5. But Dead Hungry is pretty cool, and the PSVR version was impressive. So I probably should bounce out of here. I did want to talk about Talos Principle. I don't have enough time to talk about Talos Principle right now. Otherwise, we're going to push into a 30-minute show, and I don't want to do that. But oh my goodness, dude, Talos Principle is freaking bananas. It is just such an incredible game. I am absolutely blown away. It's really too much of a good thing. Talos Principle is just so much game and so good, so amazing. Absolutely loving Talos Principle. I'm going to have to talk about that tomorrow. I have to dedicate at least 5 to 7 minutes of Talos Principle discussion, because goodness gracious, Crow Team has absolutely killed it with Talos Principle. But that's going to go ahead and wrap it up. We, of course, are on episode 27. This is Tuesday, November 7th. That's going to wrap it up for this episode, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take it easy. Later.